what happened in that expansion that we were so bad in Highmaul, so good in Blackrock, and then so... And by bad, I don't mean like objectively bad, I mean like failing to meet expectations, right? But that's what I mean, like why were we so far off our expectations in 2 of those 3 raids? I didn't play Warrior in Hell... Oh, I did play Warrior in Hellfire. But it was only on an alt. I didn't do the mythic stuff in there. I remember when we did the Viper raids, I played Warrior, though. It was like kind of a whatever character. I don't remember what I played, though. I think I played Fury, right? But I played Glad War and Highmaul, and I was like fucking legend at it, dude. Did I play Arms in there? Maybe I did. I remember we had one viewer run where like there was like a really hairy Manaroth pull, and we were like doing the shit where like you're like kiting it across the room and like taunting it and shit. It had to have been Arms. I don't think I would have played like the worst spec. I don't remember. I remember playing Warrior, I just don't remember what spec I played. I definitely remember playing Glad Warrior. I was a Glad Warrior innovator. I don't remember using the Rend Weakor though. Maybe I was just playing it bad, which is possible. But Warrior on Margok was a fucking trip, man. That fight was actually like tough to like do good damage on and not die, because it was like such a greed bait fight. Yeah, if I played Arms, I definitely wasn't doing the shit. Mirror image prog. I simply mean the second mirror image. I don't really remember what alts I played on Hellfire. I mean, usually I played Mage, Warrior, and Rogue were like my main alts in that era. I hate Mythic Plus with a passion for a lot of reasons, but I will agree with you. I think Mythic Plus has forced up the skill floor on the game a lot. Group 1 North, Group 2 South. What? Range healer melee tank. I should join this group. I'm gonna get fucked out of somebody. Is this the guy I was in the group before with? I don't want to join a group after, huh? See, I'm fucking around. I want this group to like disappear subconsciously, I think. We could join. What'd they say? Group 1 North, Group 2 South. Range healer melee tank conquer. That's new. But and I mean, well, I guess part of it is like do you really consider like interrupts as like a heavily skill-based thing? Like does anybody care about interrupts? Like does that make you good at interrupts? No. But you're absolutely right that like people were really bad at interrupt rotations in the game. Like in Throne of Thunder, the most annoying like interrupt rotation fight I think I've ever done was the Troll Council in Throne of Thunder. And like Throne of Thunder was like the last raid before weak Goros were like super mandatory. Like they already existed and the good players used them, but they weren't really like super widespread. It was a pretty like try-hardy thing to be using weak auras then, right? Like, that was like the advent of the dot, like, what was it called? The, AF dots, like that meta, and like that kind of like forced weak auras to exist, sort of. And we didn't have an interrupt to weak aura, so instead what we had was like a macro where every time somebody hit their interrupt, it would whisper the next person in the interrupt order, like your turn to whisper next. So like everybody, we had this like daisy chain of like whisper macros to each other. And it was so scuffed because anytime somebody like missed their whisper macro, it would like fuck it up for everybody, right? Because it was like this uncontainable like error, right? The next person would go like, oh, it's, you know, my turn next. Oh my god, it was such a clusterfuck. The olden times, you know? It was a simpler time. That's like part of why like I sort of miss like the pre-add-on days, you know? There's been so much like tech creep in WoW, and I think it like really detracts from like the enjoyment of the game.
You're no match for me.
Not always, but I think sometimes it definitely does.
A feeble shield protects nothing.
Dude, I'm bad at kicks too. It's because like I don't really play classes that kick a lot. Like Shadow Priest like kicks like maybe once a minute, you know? This is spreads. Fun. Blue is safe? Uh-oh, somebody died. Yeah, it's... At this point, I would rather kicks like didn't exist as a mechanic, you know? Like, because that's the problem, right? I don't think like an interrupt order is like a fun mechanic. And the problem is like, before it was kind of like this niche thing where it's like, oh hey, remember to use your interrupts and make sure, you know, you've got X amount of people cycling so you don't overlap. And that was like fine, but they keep making like interrupts like longer chains and like faster and like more players required and like different cooldowns between people to like throw up their, to like shake up the rotation of interrupts. And that shit just sucks, you know? It's just, they're in this arms race of like mechanical difficulty and it just sucks. That's why, so like, I don't know how many of you guys play Final Fantasy, but Final Fantasy doesn't have add-ons officially. But everybody who knows Final Fantasy knows that add-ons do exist. But like, it doesn't really matter that like add-ons exist too much, because they're like technically illegal and the game is like balanced around them not existing, but also like, unlike WoW, like the mechanics still have difficulty even when you like know exactly what to do, right? Because they're much more about like moving your character in a very precise way, whereas WoW usually isn't. WoW mechanics are much more like priority soaks and shit. And like the weak aura just tells you what the fuck to do. Whereas in Final Fantasy, even if it like tells you what to do, you still gotta kind of like move the right way and shit. Blue is safe. Did something blow up again?
Light flaming.
Yeah, it's so like... There's definitely a problem where like... There are like automation add-ons in Final Fantasy, which are like really bad, in my opinion. Like that shit like definitely needs to go, and I don't know what they do about it, but other than that, it's like kind of whatever. Lightning, 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 lightning. What? Why, dog? Yeah, no, I get it. It's... I try to, like, block out the weeb shit, personally. I'm just, like, not into it, but it's whatever. I don't mind that it exists. I really enjoy that, like, the people who play Final Fantasy seem to, like, enjoy playing Final Fantasy, whereas it seems like most of the people who play WoW seem like they hate WoW. They're trapped there.
You're no match for me.
But all I can say is from like a pure enjoyment of the raids perspective,
Come, show me your strength.
the quality of the fights in Final Fantasy is just leaps and bounds ahead of WoW. It's like, it's just not even close. I have more fun playing this game than I had playing WoW. And that's like the end of it. And I will ignore other aspects of the game and the community that I don't enjoy as much, just for the raids. Red is safe.
Light flaming.
I'm a healer, so I don't really know what we do. And this is the only Final Fantasy game I've played too, so... Ooh, he shouldn't have stacked. Yeah, that's dumb. Maybe die to the fucking dot. Lightning. Fire. What the fuck? Why is he rezzing instead of healing people? That's crazy. You don't notice the GCD thing after, like, playing it a little bit? You really don't. It's most, like, you just choose a class that has, like, off GCDs, and at that point, like, you have your GCDs, which are, like, hard-locked, but then you have off GCDs, which you use, like, between your GCDs. They're, like, Heroic Strike, basically. And at that point, you're pressing something every third of, you know, 2.5 seconds, and you really don't notice it.
You're no match for me.
I'll say I think WoW rotations are generally more fun.
A feeble shield protects nothing.
And WoW is just a better feeling game. This game has like a lot of like weird cringe lag that kind of sucks, but again, it's one of those things like the fights are so much more enjoyable that I overlook like a lot of gross shit. It is safe. Like, I have to use so much more brain juice playing this game. It's actually unreal how much, like, more in the game I am than I ever was in WoW. while you're in your rotation, and I kind of like miss that. Like, I'm kind of on autopilot most of the time when I'm playing Final Fantasy, but when you're doing the mechanics, it's like, focus up, you know? Lightning, fire, lightning, fire, 2 fires, right? Missing one person. Worst character? I mean, worse by like a smaller margin. It's still really satisfying to play your character, I think, in this game. But like the rotations are very fixed. Like you will almost always press your buttons in the same order on every job. Like only like 2 of the jobs in the game have like random components to them. And WoW used to be that way too. You know, WoW is not like that now. Like, WoW has been taken over by procs and, like, you know, RNG, trinkets, and things like that. But WoW used to be, like, a game where you would map out your rotation, like, pretty far in advance, right? Like, and especially Shadow Priest and, like, most of the classes that I liked in WoW. So, like, it's not to say it's strictly a bad thing that, oops, press the wrong button. That the classes are much more fixed, but there's definitely like a, because it fosters, like a mastery component to it, you know? Blue is safe.
Light flaming.
It's like easier to gauge your progress and your skill, I think, when the rotations have little variation to them. So it's a good and a bad thing. Lightning, lightning, fire, fire. Guess I'll pot here. We won't make it, but could be fun. Oof. Yeah, I mean, WoW is more about Mythic Plus, in my opinion, now, than it is about, raiding, and that's fine. It seems like a lot of people really enjoy Mythic Plus. I'm just not one of them, you know? But yeah, that's exactly it. WoW is much more about playing your job. Final Fantasy is much more about playing the fights. But like, the overall experience is that I have to use my brain so much more in this game, and it's like, it's a lot more satisfying for me to play.
I'm the only one fit to protect her.
But I will not deny that the community can be a little,
You're no match for me.
off sometimes. I don't mean that in like a I guess that probably sounds worse than I'm making it sound. I mean it in like a... It just occurred to me that sounds like kind of like a bigoted thing, but that's not the direction I'm going with it. It's like... people get really crazy over things that like aren't that big of a deal. Ooh, I'm still close to the outside. Like hunt trains and shit is just kind of like, bro, take a fucking chill pill. Lose safe.
Light flaming.
Whereas people in WoW, they're just like dicks. And like, that's kind of it. Lightning... Lightning... Lightning 3... Where are they out here, dog? Hello? Where are there 5 people here? Just doing big AoE through your single... Oh, you mean like innate cleave? Yeah, that shit's always been really OP. Like, if your main single target rotation has cleave to it, it's like... you're almost always a good class. It doesn't really matter in this game. There's like almost never AoE in raids, and when there is, it's like super trivial. It like never fucking matters that your job is good at it or bad at it. Which is a mixed bag, right? Like, it's definitely fun to have like, oh man, you know, like this is the class that does the huge fucker amounts of AoE, you know, and they're really good, and it feels good when you do like infinity damage in some setting that fills your niche, you know? But at the same time, it allows them to really dial down the class balance, so it goes both ways. This is spreads, right? I hate gun over here. Blue is safe.
Light flaming.
And the far tether. This is the first time I've ever had the far tether. It's kind of fun. DPS balancing? That's what you mean by irrelevant, I think. Like, it's very rare that you get into a situation where your DPS like really matters. Like that. Why did that guy move? I don't understand. Like, the amount of times in this game that I'm aware of where like the difference between DPS jobs of the same role has like mattered is so few and far between, and like it's, you can kind of play whatever you want. Like, sure, there's definitely like some level of like betterness. Like, I'm playing probably the most OP class in the game right now, and it is a lot better than the other magic using characters that it competes with. It's in like, it's bad that it's as good as it is, because it kind of like invalidates some of the other options in the game. But at the same time, it doesn't really matter, because like, at least in the current game, nothing is like tuned so poorly, like the fights aren't tuned so poorly that like you can't clear them with even the worst classes possible. So like it's definitely easier when you're playing with better jobs, but does it really matter? No. That was kind of close, huh? Blues.
Light flaming.
They're both on the same side. That's no good. Why isn't one of them moving? Are you talking about WoW or Final Fantasy? Because in Final Fantasy, the difference from like top to bottom is usually like, if it's 10%, that's like, holy fuck, balance is so bad right now. But in WoW, yeah, there's like a 50% difference from top to bottom. But WoW has so many, like, I get it, right? Like, it's hard to maintain parity among that many jobs, and they just, you know, if a job is so far out of the picture that people aren't even playing it, there's not really much harm in letting it continue to be shit, and you'll, you know, fix it later. By 20%, it's never been that much better, I don't think. If... no, like 5% maybe, but the thing is, 5% is a lot in this game. Like, it's a battle of inches, so like 5% is considered like a pretty big balance outlier, but when you think about it in the scheme of things, like compared to WoW, it's like 5%, like who the fuck cares? But the 40%, it's never been anywhere close to that as far as I'm aware of. It's like 40% from like the top DPS to like a healer, but not from the best DPS to the worst DPS.
Show me your strength.
Why are these guys so far back here? What the fuck? Stand the marker. Blue is safe.
Light flaming.
Oh, I can be way further up. Dude. This is supposed to be a P2 group. Right on me. Fire, lightning. Okay. Fire then lightning.
Feeble shield takes nothing.
No.
How about you?
I giga fucked up this rotation. What was I doing?
Only I can protect her.
Oh, I totally misjudged the length of that cast bar. Go. We only got him to 45%. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely true, is that Mythic Plus adds a lot of, like, balance overhead. It does seem to me like they balance more around Mythic Plus. Why didn't I get hit by that? Gave me a I had to have gotten a damage down. There's no way I would have done so little damage otherwise.